It took Vanessa exactly 7 seconds to destroy her best friend's life. 7 seconds. That's all it was. A moment of weakness, a flash of envy so sharp it felt like swallowing glass, and words that left her mouth before her brain could catch them. 7 seconds that would spiral into chaos she never imagined, consequences she couldn't control, and a desperate race to undo what couldn't be undone. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Vanessa Summers and Riley Morrison had been inseparable since freshman year of college. They were the kind of friends who finished each other's sentences, who could communicate entire conversations with a single look, who knew each other's coffee orders and childhood traumas and secret dreams. After graduation, they'd gotten an apartment together in the city. Both chasing careers in marketing, Vanessa at a mid-sized firm, Riley at a startup. For 3 years, they'd been equals. Same salary bracket, same struggles, same late nights venting about demanding bosses and impossible deadlines. They celebrated each other's wins and commiserated over losses. They were a team. And then Riley got promoted. Not just promoted, catapulted. From junior marketing associate to creative director in one leap. Complete with a salary that tripled overnight, an office with windows, and her name on campaigns that would reach millions. The startup had been acquired by a major corporation, and Riley, who'd been there from the beginning, suddenly found herself with stock options worth more than Vanessa made in 5 years. Riley was 28 years old, and suddenly, impossibly successful. Vanessa told herself she was happy for her friend. She threw Riley a celebration dinner. She posted congratulations on social media. She smiled until her face hurt. But late at night, alone in her room, the envy ate at her like acid. It wasn't fair. They'd started at the same place. They had the same education, the same work ethic, the same dreams. The only difference was luck. Riley had chosen a startup that happened to blow up, while Vanessa had chosen stability that turned out to be stagnation. Riley didn't even seem to appreciate it. She complained about the pressure, the long hours, the expectations. She'd come home exhausted and privileged, venting about problems Vanessa would have killed to have. "I don't know if I'm ready for this much responsibility," Riley said one night over takeout, and Vanessa, who'd been passed over for promotion 3 times that year, who'd watched younger colleagues leap over her, who was drowning in credit card debt while her best friend worried about which luxury car to buy, felt something inside her snap. But she smiled. She nodded. She swallowed the poison. Until she couldn't anymore. The moment happened at Riley's company celebration party. It was held at an upscale rooftop bar downtown, the kind of place Vanessa couldn't afford on her own. Riley had insisted she come, had paid for her dress, had introduced her to everyone as my best friend, basically my sister, the most talented marketer you'll ever meet. It should have felt supportive. Instead, it felt like pity. Vanessa stood at the bar, nursing her 3rd glass of wine, watching Riley glow. She was surrounded by colleagues and executives, everyone wanting a piece of her attention, everyone treating her like she'd personally invented success. Riley's boss, an older man named Richard Matthews, had his hand on Riley's shoulder, laughing at something she'd said, his eyes lingering too long on her face. Vanessa noticed. Of course she noticed. She'd been watching Riley all night with the careful attention of someone cataloging evidence. Richard Matthews was married. Vanessa had seen his wife at company events. She'd also heard whispers about his reputation, his pattern of getting too close to young female employees. Nothing concrete, nothing actionable. Just the background radiation of corporate toxicity that everyone knew but nobody acknowledged. And Riley, naive Riley, who saw the best in everyone, didn't seem to notice how Richard looked at her. How he found excuses to touch her arm, her back, her shoulder. How his mentorship felt less like guidance and more like grooming. Vanessa watched this unfold, and the wine, and the envy, and the hurt combined into something toxic in her chest. A woman approached the bar Jessica, from Riley's office, someone Vanessa had met briefly. They made small talk. Jessica mentioned how amazing Riley was, how lucky the company was to have her, how quickly she'd risen. "Well?" Vanessa heard herself say, the wine loosening her tongue. "She's always been good at using her assets." Jessica's eyebrows raised. "What do you mean?" Vanessa should have stopped, should have laughed it off, changed the subject, swallowed the words back down. But the envy was a living thing now, demanding to be fed. "I mean, you've seen how Richard looks at her, right? That promotion didn't come from nowhere. Riley's always known how to make powerful men feel special." 7 seconds. That's all it took to plant the seed. Jessica's expression shifted surprise, then something darker. Interest. "Are you saying—" "I'm not saying anything," Vanessa backpedaled, suddenly aware she'd crossed a line. "Forget it. I've had too much wine. I'm just being stupid." But Jessica was already moving away, phone in hand, typing something, and Vanessa knew with cold certainty that she'd just done something terrible. She watched Jessica approach 2 other colleagues, watched them glance at Riley and Richard, who were deep in conversation by the windows. Watched the whisper network activate like a virus. Vanessa's stomach dropped. She'd meant to make a cutting remark, to release some of the poison eating at her. She hadn't meant to start a rumor, she hadn't meant for it to spread. But it was too late. The words were out. The damage was done. By Monday morning, the rumor had evolved beyond recognition. Vanessa heard it third hand in the elevator at her own office. Some creative director at a tech company had slept with her married boss to get promoted. The story had mutated, grown teeth. Some versions said Riley had been caught in the act. Others claimed there was video evidence. One particularly vicious iteration suggested Riley had broken up Richard's marriage. None of it was true. Vanessa knew it wasn't true. She'd made a snide comment, a bitter implication, not an accusation. But rumors don't care about truth. They care about drama. Riley called Vanessa at lunch, her voice shaking. "Someone started a rumor about me and Richard. HR is investigating. They've put me on administrative leave while they look into it. Vanessa, I don't understand what's happening." Vanessa's mouth was dry. "What kind of rumor?" That we... Riley couldn't even say it. "It's not true. We've never... Oh my God, he's married. He's my boss. I would never, but someone told HR I've been having an affair with him to advance my career. They're taking it seriously. They have to investigate. My reputation is being destroyed over a lie." "Who would say something like that?" Vanessa forced the words out past the guilt lodging in her throat. "I don't know. Someone from the party, they think. Someone who saw us talking and decided to make it into something it wasn't." Riley was crying now. "This could end my career, Vanessa. Even if they clear me, people will always wonder. They'll always think maybe it's true." "It'll be okay," Vanessa said, the words ash in her mouth. "The truth will come out." "Will it? Or will this follow me forever?" After they hung up, Vanessa sat in her cubicle, staring at nothing, understanding fully what she'd done. She'd been jealous. She'd been petty. She'd made one bitter comment to feel superior for 7 seconds. And now, Riley's entire life was unraveling. The investigation moved quickly, as these things do when lawyers get involved. Richard was questioned. Riley was questioned. Colleagues were interviewed. Email records were pulled. Security footage was reviewed. And with every passing day, the rumor grew stronger, fed by the very investigation meant to disprove it. Riley stopped answering Vanessa's calls. When she finally did, 3 days later, her voice was hollow. "They're saying I should resign. Even though they haven't found any evidence, even though Richard and I both denied everything, even though it's completely false, they're saying it would be best for everyone if I just left quietly." "They can't do that." "They can do whatever they want. They have lawyers. They have power. I'm just a 28-year-old who got too successful too fast, and now I'm a liability." Riley's laugh was bitter. "You want to know the worst part? Richard gets to keep his job. He gets a slap on the wrist for creating an appearance of impropriety. But he keeps his position, his salary, his reputation. I get to be the cautionary tale." "Riley, I worked so hard, Vanessa. I earned this, and now it's gone because someone decided to destroy me with a lie." Her voice cracked. "I keep thinking, who hates me that much? Who would do this?" Vanessa closed her eyes, phone pressed to her ear, drowning in guilt. "I don't know," she whispered, and it was the worst lie she'd ever told. The pressure built like water behind a dam. Riley did resign. She had no choice but to stay and be pushed out eventually, or leave with some shred of dignity intact. She took a severance package that came with a non-disclosure agreement, which meant she couldn't even defend herself publicly. Her LinkedIn was flooded with recruiters suddenly going silent. Job interviews that had been scheduled were mysteriously canceled. The rumor had spread through industry networks, the way these things do, mutating with each retelling until Riley Morrison was synonymous with scandal. Meanwhile, Vanessa watched her best friend crumble. Riley stopped leaving the apartment, stopped showering regularly, spent her days in pajamas, scrolling through job listings she'd never applied to, crying over a career that had been perfect until Vanessa had destroyed it. And Vanessa, sick with guilt, didn't know what to do. She couldn't tell Riley the truth. The betrayal would end their friendship instantly. Riley would hate her, and rightfully so. But more than that, Riley was already broken. Learning that her best friend had done this, that the person she trusted most had been the architect of her destruction, might actually destroy her completely. So Vanessa said nothing. She brought Riley food. She held her while she cried. She listened to Riley wonder aloud who could have started such a vicious lie. Every moment of comfort Vanessa offered was another layer of deception. Another betrayal stacked on the original sin. The spiral continued. Riley's mental health deteriorated. She started having panic attacks. She couldn't sleep. The apartment that had been their sanctuary became a prison where Riley replayed her downfall on an endless loop. Vanessa tried to help, but everything she did felt like applying bandages to a wound she'd inflicted. She suggested therapy. She helped Riley update her resume. She even reached out to her own contacts, trying to find opportunities. But the rumor followed Riley everywhere. One Google search, one whispered conversation, and doors closed. Then Riley started drinking. Not socially, not casually, desperately. A bottle of wine with lunch. Vodka before bed. Anything to quiet the voice in her head that said she was ruined, that her career was over at 28, that she'd never escape the shadow of a lie. Vanessa watched her best friend self-destruct and understood with cold clarity that she had to fix this. She had to undo what she'd done, even if it meant confessing, even if it meant losing Riley forever. Because losing Riley to suicide or addiction or despair would be infinitely worse than losing her to anger. The confession didn't go as planned. Vanessa had rehearsed it 100 times. She'd tell Riley the truth, take full responsibility, help her fight back. They'd find a lawyer. They'd sue for defamation. They'd clear Riley's name and let the consequences fall where they may. But before Vanessa could speak, Riley came home from a rare outing with news. "I ran into Jessica today, from my old office." Riley's voice was strange flat, disconnected. "We talked. She felt guilty," she said. "She told me something." Vanessa's blood turned to ice. "She told me the rumor started at my celebration party. She said someone, a woman, someone she didn't know well, made a comment about me and Richard. She couldn't remember exactly who it was, but she remembered the comment. Something about me using my assets, about making powerful men feel special." Riley's eyes found Vanessa's, and in them was a question Vanessa couldn't bear to answer. "Jessica said this woman seemed bitter, jealous. Said she was drinking heavily and seemed really resentful about my promotion." Riley's voice was shaking now. "She said the woman claimed to be my best friend." The apartment was silent except for the sound of Vanessa's world ending. "It was you," Riley said, and it wasn't a question. "You started the rumor. You destroyed my life because you were jealous." "Riley, don't!" Riley's composure cracked. "Don't you dare try to explain. Don't you dare make excuses. You were supposed to be my sister. You were supposed to love me. And you destroyed me because I got something you wanted? It wasn't like that. Then what was it like?" Riley was screaming now, tears streaming down her face. Tell me how it was. Tell me why my best friend decided to burn my entire life to the ground." "I was jealous," Vanessa screamed back, her own tears falling. "I was jealous and bitter and drunk, and I said something stupid. I didn't mean for it to spread. I didn't mean for any of this to happen. It was 7 seconds of being a terrible person, and I can't take it back." 7 seconds. Riley's laugh was broken. 7 seconds, and my career is over. My reputation is destroyed. I've been blacklisted from my industry. I've spent 2 months wanting to die. Because you couldn't be happy for me for 7 fucking seconds. "I'm sorry." "Sorry doesn't fix this." Riley grabbed her phone. "You know what I have to do now? I have to tell Jessica the truth. I have to tell her it was you, so she can tell HR, so they can investigate properly, so maybe I can clear my name. Which means you're going to face consequences, Vanessa. Real ones. Legal ones, probably." Vanessa nodded, tears blurring her vision. "I know. I'll do whatever it takes. I'll testify. I'll sign statements. I'll take full responsibility. Just please let me help you fix this." "You can't fix this." Riley's voice was hollow. "You broke something that can't be repaired. Not my career, me. You broke me. And I don't know if I'll ever be whole again." The next 3 months were a special kind of hell. Vanessa did testify. She gave a full statement to Riley's former company's HR department, admitting she'd started the rumor out of jealousy, that Riley had never had an inappropriate relationship with Richard, that she'd destroyed her best friend's life out of envy. The company, terrified of a lawsuit, immediately cleared Riley of any wrongdoing. They offered her job back with a raise. They issued a public statement about taking harassment and false allegations seriously. Richard Matthews was quietly let go not for sleeping with Riley, but for creating an environment where such rumors could flourish. Riley got her career back. Sort of. The damage to her reputation couldn't be completely undone, but slowly, doors began to reopen. Vanessa, meanwhile, lost everything. Her company fired her for conduct unbecoming. The industry whispers that had destroyed Riley now turned on Vanessa not as a cautionary tale about workplace affairs, but as a warning about jealous colleagues who would burn down your life. She couldn't find work. Her savings evaporated. She had to move back in with her parents at 30 years old, a failure in every way that mattered. But worse than any of that was losing Riley. Riley never pressed charges she could have for defamation, but she didn't. She said she just wanted it to be over. But she also made it clear their friendship was done. She moved out of the apartment, blocked Vanessa on everything, refused all attempts at contact. Vanessa had destroyed her best friend's life trying to feel superior for 7 seconds, and in trying to fix it, she destroyed her own. 2 years later, Vanessa is rebuilding slowly. She's working at a small nonprofit, doing social media management for a fraction of her old salary. She's in therapy. She's learning to live with what she did, understanding she can't undo it, and can only move forward carrying the weight of it. She's at a coffee shop when she sees Riley. Their eyes meet across the crowded room. Riley looks good, healthy, confident, healed in ways Vanessa might never be. She's with colleagues, laughing at something on her phone. She's clearly thriving. Vanessa considers leaving, but before she can, Riley walks over. They stand facing each other, 2 women who were once sisters, now strangers. "Hi," Riley says. "Hi." Vanessa's voice is barely audible. "You look good. I'm glad." "Thank you." Riley's expression is unreadable. "I heard you were working at Hearts and Hope. They do good work." "Yeah, it's not much, but it's honest work. I'm trying to be better." A long silence stretches between them, filled with everything they can't say. "I don't forgive you," Riley says finally. "I don't know if I ever will. What you did broke something in me that took years to heal. And even now, I'm not the same person I was." Vanessa nods, tears threatening. "I know. I don't expect forgiveness. I just want you to know that I'm sorry. Every day. For the rest of my life." Riley considers this. "I believe you. But sorry doesn't change anything. It doesn't give me back the months I lost. It doesn't erase the damage." "I know." Another silence. Then Riley says something unexpected. "But I'm glad you're working somewhere good. I'm glad you're trying to be better. Because the alternative, you staying bitter and destructive, would have meant I lost my best friend twice. Once to betrayal and once to self-destruction." "Riley, I can't be your friend again, Vanessa. That door's closed. But I can hope you find your way to being someone who wouldn't hurt people the way you hurt me. Someone who learned from this." She turns to leave, then pauses. "There's a quote I think about sometimes. Hurt people, hurt people. You were hurt, and you hurt me. But you don't have to keep that cycle going. You can be the person who breaks it." Riley walks away, back to her colleagues, back to her rebuilt life. Vanessa stands alone in the coffee shop, watching the best friend she destroyed walk out of her life for the final time, understanding that some consequences can't be fixed, only endured. She pulls out her phone and opens her notes app, writes, "Day 743 without hurting someone out of envy. The goal is forever." She orders her coffee and heads to work, carrying the weight of what she did, choosing every day to be better than the person who destroyed everything in 7 seconds of poison. Envy is a brief fire that burns everything you love. Choose gratitude. Choose honesty. Choose to celebrate others' success, because tomorrow, your moment might come, and you'll want someone to celebrate you too.